All right, here we go. We're recording. I think maybe we're recording. So we'll start the slideshow again, so everybody can see it. So I call this "Let's Build Some Houses," entry-level affordable housing in Pensacola, Florida, and this is what it looks like. It's 1,120 square foot floor plan, as basic as you can get. It's in a B or C class neighborhood, and this was part of a purchase. This is part of a purchase that Sunrise Acquisition Services made, where they bought a larger lot and rezoned it to got a lot split done, and building 4 of these houses. You'll see on the right-hand side of the slide that there's a older, dilapidated single wide, and there were 4 on this property when they started. And the purpose of the purchase was land development, and this is what we're doing. So, why I did this deal. This is because I've had 7 prior successful projects over the last 3 years with Sunrise, including some fix and flip to seller finance. I've got 2 rental units. We did 4 medium $250,000 construction projects, and we did 1 $700,000 waterfront project that had its pluses and minuses because it was a much bigger building, and all of them finished to success. Some great success, some modest success, but they all finished. And the Sunrise folks were 100% along for the ride the whole way. There's never been the typical contractor builder fight or any of that kind of stuff. I had a couple of things sell, and I had $80,000 sitting in 2 tax advantaged accounts at Quest Trust that were just sitting there, and I've been too busy with the day job to and this little virus thing that's going on to go out and find something on my own. So this was easy to do. One of the things that my partner and I have been drumming into our heads is repeatable and scalable. Repeatable and scalable. Building 4 houses, having done multiple projects with the same partners, and knowing Pensacola pretty well at this point. Why in the world would anybody build a house at the brink of an imminent global economic collapse? Because people will be either moving from renting to owning. You can't get any. You can get 3% money now. You can get 2.99, 2.87 interest rates now. It's in this price point, the $200,000 price point. It's cheaper to own than rent. It's also, people recognize that the world's going to change, and they better grab a house when you can right now. And so real estate is just crazy. 3 months ago, I was thinking it was the end of the world. I was tightening everything which way I could, which is why I had that money sitting there. But I guess I'm wrong again, still. And partners are partners. Oh, that's a terrible sentence. Partners are more important than the project, than the real estate, or at least as important. Time is the killer of all these deals, and having somebody who knows how to manage to a timeline and delivers is worth giving up some potential upside. We did this deal without my greed switch thrown. I did this at modest, better than typical hard money loan rates, because of the history, and because how good Sunrise was to me in the last transaction that took some effort to get out of. And so it's my turn to be good to them. We'll touch on a deal at the very end where I've already told them I'm not going to be I'm not going to be good to them again. I'm not going to be the discount window this time. But, so I'm going to show you some pictures of the house. Note that it's one of the things I've learned down there is there's a little elevation. They've got to bring in some dirt because it's a place where there's hurricanes and rain and all that good stuff. So every project has to be elevated a little bit. The last project we did, we had to elevate 12 feet. So this being up on a little mound of dirt's just fine. It's nicely wooded area. This is going to be a little inlet street right there, access point. This is the stick-built one. The SIPS panel one, the SIPS construction one, will have a much different interior process and exterior. We'll talk about SIPS in a moment, so let me just jump past that. This is the lot next to the one that we saw the picture, and this is where the SIPS build is going to start. And the question is can you get the SIPS build built faster than the stick build? So, and the answer to that should be yes. This is me standing in front of a project that we call Inner because it's on Inner Island and down in that area. And this was the first one that we did. We bought the lot, sold the house in 5 months. So I started out really spoiled. This is what the finished project looked like, 1,850 square feet. We would all live in this house. This was just exactly the right size of everything. 11-foot ceilings in the living area. Just it was. I'm still really proud of this. So we're going to build a house, and people want to talk about numbers. Sunrise gave me this deal analysis talking about the optimistic middle ground, and if things go south, what it's like. So we'll just take the likely column and sell the house for $185,000. Assign $25,000 to land cost, $12,000 for all the development pieces that went into that, the plans and the engineering and all that. He has a fixed construction cost with the builder, $90,000. Adding in some finished costs because we find every time there's stuff you need to do. Holding costs for our contribution, tax, insurance, electric, etc., and a first mortgage. And some of these were in first position. One of these were in first position. The other 3 lots were in second. Estimating selling through a traditional realtor, which may or may not happen. We've sold some of these projects mid-construction to just because people come by and say, "Can I buy it?" And we say, "Yes, you can." And an exit somewhere between $20,000 if it's terrible to $48,000 if everything goes right, the sun shines every day. And we also built in if it's done in 6 months, done in 8 months, done in 10 months. We broke out the holding costs. We got into real detail. We got loan payments on this. We've got the broker's commission. We got everything built in, including a little last minute concession to the buyer because there always seems to be something, a little landscaping. Oh, I need a better dishwasher, whatever. So, Sunrise uses some software that produces this kind of report where you can track jobs from beginning to end. And if you've got a contractor who doesn't do this, stop, back up, and ask for where this report is, because that's how they should have put their price together. It allows you to really drill in as the project's moving along and see when things should be being spent and when they are. We've uncovered we had a couple of years ago, we had a big hurricane that did a lot of damage in Panama City, and suddenly skilled labor became really scarce because they all ran over there because there was double the hourly over there. So things took longer to get done. Price of lumber is half again as much as it was 3 years ago, and that's not going down. The SIPS product helps reduce some of those costs, and we're starting another project in Northwest Indiana, which is going to be SIPS metal construction with a whole bunch of solar and this and that in it to make it a zero energy house, and we're sharing that experience here too. So what was the deal? I already told you that Sunrise purchased, but I didn't tell you, Sunrise purchased the 4 mobile home property with seller financing. They went through the effort of development plans and county approvals and all of that. They did a lot split, and that's the point where I think maybe not the majority. Why is somebody calling the office at this time of night? Anyway, too late, we're on. The money I think is made in the lot split, probably half the money there, and then the other half is made in the final flip. But I'm becoming enamored with paying attention to time, and we may look at projects going forward where we have an opportunity to sell a lot or two early and then build, something like that. But anyway, we brought what would be typically called mezzanine financing, where the equity financing piece, and that money is to fund the construction that's going on now. Builder Finance, a company called BFI, is great to work with, and they've loaned in $75,000 fund the start of the second home, and the idea is you just keep rolling over house number 1 into house number 3 and house number 2 into house number 4, and by the end, she basically built 3 houses, and they pay for the 4th one, and the 4th one's your profit. The all-in high-end expectation of building these houses, including the dirt and the fees and all that, is about $140,000. 1,100 square foot home, build at about $110 a foot for the structure, plus the land and running utilities and all that. And if you sell all 4 at an average of $185,000, then there's a fair chunk of money there, and a lot of good experience to maybe take a look at doing this on a larger parcel, maybe building a little pocket neighborhood. Structural insulated panel construction. The minute I lend money out, I want to know when it's coming back. So speed of construction is really a big deal to me. SIPS construction, because the panels are built and assembled through using CAD design, they come ready to be plugged in and put together. It's 2 savings. You don't need high-end carpentry skilled people for all of the work, just the finish work. And again, the panels come ready, sized. The way things are done now is there's very few surprises in fitting things together, and there's also none of the on-site waste that you typically have in a construction project. There's not a big stack of sheetrock or plywood for thieves to steal. So here's a guy on a roof bolting it together. Here's people clicking the panels into place. Here's 2 examples of here's a standard kind of house that feels to me like the Inner house that we just built a couple of years ago, and this other house over here, which is on the right, which is a steel design, solar panel roof, batteries. It has a little tunnel, little drill down 30 feet for a heat exchanger to bring cool or warm circulated air up from the ground, depending on the season. And apparently it's always 62 degrees or something, 15 feet down. So the passive investor guys want to know the money stuff. That's what we did. I charged 2 points plus closing costs. I charged 8% simple interest, no payments due, for 8 months to allow construction of the first house and time to sell. I have the option to roll my money from house number 1 to house number 3. If we get past 8 months, I have an automatic 5% increase in the note, and that is the renewal is at my discretion, and the rate increase is at my discretion too. So if, frankly, because it's now a relationship with Sunrise, if they're 2 weeks from selling or any of that kind of stuff, we're just we're gonna be friends and do things the way we're supposed to. The security was first position on 1 lot and second position on the other 3. And as they sell, of course, we'll continue to improve the equity coverage. Right now, it's an $80,000 loan. $56,000 was in my self-directed IRA, and there was $24,000 sitting in an HSA. And a little side story in the HSA: the reason that money got accumulated there is because Sunrise helped me sell a house, owner finance, to a borrower. We did a flip, made some markup in the flip, and that borrower has been rock steady, paying $500 a month now for 2 years, and that money was just sitting there accumulating because there was nothing, it was nothing like for $10,000 that I could do or pay attention to. So I was able to sweep that 24,000. Put it back out at 8%, and that's all. There's no basis in that. That's all profit from note payments. I like Quest Trust Company for no other reason that they have this fantastic training on how all this stuff in this world works, and they charge $125 per note plus a little this and that. And we closed with my favorite named title company in the world, Wolinka Wilkie Title, and the closer there has the same last name that I do, which is a pretty unique name. So Robin Hodgson and Steve Hodgson get to work together once in a while, and it tickles both of us. Just a quick couple of other projects I've done. Some people have said, besides having gray hair, why do I spout off about knowing anything? This was a remodel I did on a shopping center that I bought right before the crash in Denver. We did a roof replacement and some corners and a new band and all that stuff. It was a 45,000 square foot project. I had 20 tenants. I had 20 tenants when I bought the place. I had 8 in a year. So rode that all the way back, finished that. I said it was a 9-year hold, and it was ugly, scary, and I'm trying not to waste that education. That tenant is still there. That subway's been there for, I think, 30 years now. This is an office building. I don't have an after picture. This is an office building project that I bought up in Yuba City, California. It was a vacant realtor office. I turned it into one larger office and had some sublet offices inside too. Great little hold. Paid good income. I don't remember what I made on it after like a 6-year hold, but it wasn't pink anymore, and it had a lovely roof when I was done. Boarded windows. Windows are expensive. This will be the one I talk about till the day I die. This was in Bel Air, California. This was just the most beautiful thing I've ever been part to, and I had to sue the developer to get paid. But I did, I did, but didn't make anywhere near the money that was promised. But I got me and a group of 9 other investors. I got them all out alive because this is what I know how to do. I've been a bill collector and collection agency owner for 30 years. I've been in that space for 30 years. And so those are the skills that I bring. I know what to do. I know what to do when things go wrong. So what's next? I'm going to jump out after this and show you just a realtor flyer on a piece of property. But it's basically the same game, but it's a combination of the last project, the project before this that we did in Pensacola, or in Gulf Breeze, which was a waterfront lot. But the money, I think, is in the lot split. The effort of building the house and the timeline and all that stuff, that's where I'm going to start to lose interest. But to get in and do the lot split, and the idea is to take a big property and turn it into 4 lots and sell 3 and keep 1, right? So I'm excited that part because it turns the money over. But the folks at Sunrise are in the building business, so they want to build. But this is as that as that part of the project starts. I don't have enough cash available right now to be the bank for this. So there's opportunities for other people to find out more. My disclaimer, the disclaimer I never did. Not a lawyer, it's not real estate advice, it's not attorney advice, it's not CPA, it's not any of those kind of things. Me telling my story about what I'm doing and hoping to make friends and learn from you guys. But risk is always there. So I'm really trying to focus on picking in-demand projects, things that people need and want today. There's a pocket in Northwest Indiana that just has no inventory at the affordable level, the $250,000 price point. And we think we have a way to build a house with almost exactly the same numbers. Build for $130 a foot, sell for $190 a foot, and just turn them over. And putting in a bid, I think on a cornfield pretty much is what that's going to be. That's what that part of the world is. So I want to pick things that people can afford. No more $7 million mansions. And I want to pick the right partners. And I don't need more than 1 or 2. I really don't. I'm not going to be Lennar Homes or KB or anything like that. And the old guy suggestion to any of you guys that are younger than me, which should be most of you, is understand what keeps you up at night. And don't do that. I've spent so much time thinking and worrying about things that I volunteered for. And so I'm I now am accountable to a couple of people that I'm not allowed to spend my own money anymore. I've got to go to my partner and say, how about this deal? And he's not allowed just to get swept away with my enthusiasm. We actually have to really drill down. So I think that's probably the big thing is don't do things that you're worried about at the beginning. So that's that. Manuel's there. Hey, Manuel, we just met yesterday. I'm going to go and show you this PDF. And so that was how to build a little house and hopefully make some money, how to do things fast, how to provide something that the community really needs. And this is something that people really want. Nobody really needs what's in this picture. Nobody needs one of these really long things sticking out of their backyard. That's a boat launch. Because boat launches come with boats, and nobody needs a boat. So that's that. So there's 200 feet of waterfront right here. Let me make this a little bigger. Yeah, 200 feet of waterfront right here. This is the lot. And it's all through these trees and like this. So it's this clump of trees. I see these houses like this. There are all these buildings stacked up this way. So the plan is to split this lot basically in thirds. So make 3 waterfront properties with 60-foot frontage of some sort. Draw a line across here. Here's a little street that comes in. So here's the access for these people that come down through here. They come in next to tract. They drive over to MDR and then they go over to their houses. And that would leave the back half, 40% of this, as space for Sunrise to keep for future project. But the money is up here and being on the water. And the last project that we sold was in this is Perdido Bay. I've been to Perdido Bay several times. It's one of those, nothing more than anybody needs than this. It's kind of the blue collar Riviera. And it's we know how to clear trees, we know how to level land, we know how to build houses up on pylons, so there's never any question of flood. We know how to build a house that can withstand 150-mile-an-hour hurricane. We know how to build rooftop decks. We know how to build a house with an elevator, which was something I had never done before. But I really like the idea of doing development up here in the front, keeping this land back here a little bit for a little while. There's a main thoroughfare right through here, and there's another access point over here. And maybe you come to your house this way, and maybe there's something built over here a couple of years later that you get to over here. And so everybody has lots of nice, and you leave the trees up in the middle, and everybody has nice privacy. This has been something that Sunrise and I have talked about for a little bit, and I was cold to it because we still hadn't sold the last big project, but now I got a little money burning a hole in my pocket, and this is probably a good space to park that retirement money when that starts to come due. So that's tonight's presentation, and we're open for the business questions or comments or anything anybody wants to ask. I didn't touch on notes tonight, other than here's a seller finance deal that I constructed. I didn't talk about our day job of subprime lending. I'll leave that for some other day. But the floor is open. Anybody's got any questions? Otherwise, I'm going to go home and have dinner. All right. We post all of these up on YouTube in the most unprofessional channel you can find. It's my name, Steve Hodgdon, and some of them go back years and years. You can see me back when I had black hair. In fact, doing some collection work. And there's a couple of dozen of them there now, covering all ranges of topics from buying distress notes, workouts, construction projects gone bad, how to sue your builder, all that kind of thing. I need to do one now because now I can do one called How to Sue Your Builder Twice, because I've sued the same guy 2 times now. And no, I haven't lent him any more money.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you already know that that project, the land can be section or partition? Is it approved by the county or the city?
No, it's not. And that's where the speculation part comes in. So my intent is to help acquire the property at the price as it is now, and then improve the property. And so we'll say rough numbers. Say I can buy the lot for $200,000. I buy the lot for $200,000. You spend, there's lots of field work has been done to make sure that it's possible and that the county agrees. We have not made the step to do the lot split because that would then improve the value to the current owner, but it's ready to pull the trigger. So say you buy the lot, the whole thing, the whole 1.5 acres for $200,000 or $250,000. and then you sell the individual. Just say we just did a lot split and sold the dirt, and sell each of the lots for 125,000. So you'd be 250 in, 375 out in 6 months. Maybe you sell two so that you own the third lot and the whole back lot at no basis, and then you ride those to complete development projects. If you buy it below, there's, the world is pretty perfect, since Zillow was invented. You can't go buy something for 20 cents that's worth $1. But if you buy it for 85% of what you think the real value is, then you've baked in some profit there, and that's the basic approach to that. So if we think the profits were the land is worth 2.25 as is, and you can get it for 200, and you know that you split it, you can turn it into at least 350. Then then I'm okay being 100% levered at that point. I'm okay having 100% in it, knowing that in a short period of time I'm going to make more money than just charging interest. So that's an example where I want to be in a participation agreement. The one we've just done now, I did straight interest because it was simple, clean, and gives them the lion's share of the money as a way to repay them for the last big construction project where they didn't make anything, and I made, they took it at zero so that I could make a profit.
So what you're saying is the lot represents a lot of flexibility, because depending on the market conditions, you can do different things with it, basically.
Yeah, and it is already 3 parcels in 1 lot. So okay. I'm sorry, no, it's 3 lots. I get this backwards all the time. It's 3 lots in 1 parcel. Right. But there's all manner of things that have to be done. There's value add that needs to be done, that having the expertise to do that is where you generate the profit. Can I buy it and sell it for, in a downturn, can I do a quick sale and sell it for 80 cents of what I paid for it? Absolutely. So it's not no risk. You're still dependent on Sunrise not being abducted by aliens. You have to time when they're gonna when that team gets COVID, and hopefully they've got everything taken care of by then. There's all kinds of what ifs. Like I said, I'm here in a recording that they'll listen to, continuing to nudge the idea of, at least selling 1 lot to take some of the money off the table. Sell 1 lot to use to build the first model. The project we're talking about in Northwest Indiana, we're going to finance a model home, because this is a subdevelopment of 26 houses. So we'll buy. We're gonna buy the land in 2 or 3 stages. We're gonna buy 5 acres and 5 acres and 5 acres.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else happening? Like I said, we got a real small crowd because this was supposed to be a couple of weeks ago. But I don't worry about the small groups anymore. I was in a Zoom call with like 500 people. It was done from a bond rating agency. I was like, who does 500 person Zooms? But like I said, this gets out, and 800 people will take a look at this over the next couple of months. So appreciate the chance to tell my story. If any of you need to get a hold of me, it's Steve at Modern Asset Management. This will be posted up on YouTube tomorrow night. Please share with friends and family. And like I said, I'm gonna go get some dinner. All right. All right. Thanks. All right. Everybody have a good week. Bye. See you next month.